Hi guys, this is our presentation about a film called It's a Wonderful Life by Frank Capra. It's a Wonderful Life has been Americans' favorite Christmas film for decades. This is an American Christmas fantasy drama film produced and directed by Frank Capra. The film was distributed by RKO Radio Pictures and released on December 20th, 1946. The story based on Philip Van Doren Stern's short story The Greatest Gift, which he began to write in 1939 and privately published as a booklet in 1943.
Now let's talk a little bit about our director. Frank Capra or Francesco Rosario Capra is an Italian-American who was the most prominent filmmaker of the 1930s, who won 3 Academy Awards as Best Director. He was the president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences from 1935 to 39. He was awarded the American National Medal of the Arts in 1986 by the National Endowment of the Arts in Washington, D.C.
Capra believed that film is a disease. When it infects your bloodstream, it takes over as number one hormone. It bosses the enzymes, directs the pineal gland, plays Yago to your psyche. As with heroin, the antidote to film is more film. In fact, It's a Wonderful Life is Capra's most loved film ever, as he commented on Philip Van Doren Stern to be the man whose Christmas tale was the spark that set me off into making my favorite film. Capra admired Stern's The Greatest Gift as he said, "My goodness, this thing hit me like a ton of bricks. It was the story I've been looking for all my life. The kind of an idea that when I got old and sick and scared and ready to die, they'd say he made the greatest gift." He even said that It's a Wonderful Life sums up my philosophy of filmmaking. First, to exalt the worth of the individual. Second, to champion man, plead his causes, protest any degradation of his dignity, spirit, or divinity, and third, to dramatize the viability of the individual as in the theme of the film itself. There is a radiance and glory in the darkness. Could we but see, and to see we only have to look. I beseech you to look. Next is our characters. Capra stars James Stewart, or better known as Jimmy Stewart, one of his favorite male actors to put in many of his films, as the lovable and ambitious banker with big dreams, George Bailey, who is an important figure in his hometown, Bedford Falls in New York. The next one is Donna Reed as Mary Hatch. Mary is a beautiful young woman in Bedford Falls who has a crush on George since they were little. Lionel Barrymore as Mr. Potter, a businessman. Todd Carnes as Harry. Harry is a charming, handsome young man who is George's brother. Thomas Mitchell as Uncle Billy. Uncle Billy is George's uncle and business associate at the building and loan, who has a good heart but usually forgetful. And our mysterious character that you're gonna find out later. These are the minor characters. Billa Bondi as Mrs. Bailey, Ward Bond as Bert, H.B. Warner as Mr. Garver, Gloria Graham as Violet. Okay then, let's watch It's a Wonderful Life. Welcome back guys, hope you enjoyed the film. A little recap, the film stars James Stewart as George Bailey, a man who has given up his dreams in order to help others, and whose imminent suicide on Christmas Eve. Yeah, the day before Christmas Day, which is supposed to be the best time of the year, which bring about the intervention of his guardian angel, Clarence. Clarence shows George all the life he has touched and how different life would be for his wife Mary and his community of Bedford Falls if he had never been born. And our mysterious character is Clarence the Angel, played by Henry Travers. About the themes of this movie. The first one is sacrifice. George sacrifices his dreams of going to college and to travel the world to save his family's business from falling into the corrupt hand of Mr. Potter. Besides, he also sacrifices his honeymoon money to help out people in the town, since there was a run on the bank. In fact, George has dedicated all his life to the benefit of others and those who he loves. The next one is faith. Faith is also a major theme for George Bailey, who is full of faith that everything can be better and he can deal with any situation well. But then he completely lost all the faith, including the faith in his own life. However, after a miracle of Clarence the Angel, George regains his faith as a suggestion from the film that anyone can overcome adversity of any difficulties in life through good faith. Another theme is value of life. Clarence the Angel shows how life would have been without George Bailey, a man who wished not to be born, which represents the value of life. The film encourages the message that every life matters and every life is meaningful of the world around them. So, this is our first question. We were wondering, what do you guys think? Would the town of Bedford Falls and its people be better or worse if George Bailey were not born, and why? The next thing that we're gonna cover is filming, which is interesting. Capra is believed to have modeled the fictional Bedford Falls, which is the town in the movie, in Westchester County in upstate New York. However, Stern said his original story was actually set in New Jersey. Incidentally, Stern said in a 1946 newspaper interview, the movie takes place in Westchester County. Actually, the town I had in mind was California, New Jersey. So the actual filming took place in Culver City, California. It's a Wonderful Life was shot at RKO Radio Pictures Studios in Culver City, California, and the 89-acre RKO Movie Ranch in Encino, where Bedford Falls was adapted from Oscar-winning sets originally designed by art director Mac Ree for the 1931 epic film Cimarron. In fact, Capra actually added a tree-lined center parkway, built a working bank set, and planted 20 full-grown oak trees. Pigeons, cats, and dogs were allowed to roam the mammoth set to give the town a lived-in feeling. Due to the requirements of filming in an alternate reality, as well as different seasons, the exterior set was extremely adaptable. This is an interesting part right here. RKO Studios head of special effects, Russell Sherman, developed a new compound using water, sulfates, formite, and sugar to create chemical snow for the film. As you can see, all these real machines. Before this, movie snow was usually made from untoasted cornflakes, which were so loud when stepped on that dialogue had to be redubbed afterward. On the rover-like corner, there's Jimmy Stewart on the set showing one of the characteristics of the new artificial snow, which was that it would stick to hair and clothing. This new innovative artificial snow used for its A Wonderful Life earned a technical award for the Motion Picture Academy and allowed filmmakers to produce a realistic on-screen snowfall for the first time ever. About the colorization, director Capra met with Wilson Markle about having colorization company colorize It's a Wonderful Life based on an enthusiastic response to the colorization at the time. The company's art director, Brian Orms, prepared 10 minutes for colorized footage from It's a Wonderful Life for Capra to view, which resulted in Capra signing a contract with colorization company. 3 colorized versions have been produced. The first was released by Hal Roach Studios in 1986. The second was authorized and produced by the film's permanent owner, Republic Pictures, in 1989. Both Capra and Stewart took a critical stand on the colorized editions. The Hal Roach version was re-released in 1989 to VHS via video treasures. A third computer colorized version was produced by Legend Films in 2007 and has been released on DVD, Blu-ray, and streaming services. Cultural value. It's a Wonderful Life went from box office failure to Christmas classic. In 1990, It's a Wonderful Life was deemed culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant by the United States Library of Congress and selected for preservation in the National Film Registry. The film's elevation to the status of a beloved classic came 3 decades after its initial release, when it became a television staple during Christmas season in 1976. This came as a welcome surprise to Frank Capra and others involved with its production.
The film actually reflects financial situation in the United States at the time before the World War II. The story touches on some still relevant financial topics, including the nature of banking, the philosophical calculus behind issuing loans, and the way American families' financial fate are intertwined, as it was revealed in many scenes, including when the building and loan faces a run on the bank. Capra told the Wall Street Journal in 1984, "It's the damnedest thing I have ever seen. The film has a life of its own now, and I can look at it like I had nothing to do with it. Like I'm a parent whose kids grow up to be president. I'm proud, but it's the kid who did the work. I didn't even think of it as a Christmas story when I first ran across it. I just liked the idea." About law and regulations. Back then, the fact that Mr. Potter actually got to keep the $8,000, which basically means that the criminal got the profit from the crime. However, it was unusual in the 40s. The ending of It's a Wonderful Life against the law called the Hays Code, which is a series of rules and regulations to maintain standards and moral decency. Well, one of the rules states that the criminal cannot profit from the crime. There have to be repent or caught, but Mr. Potter did not repent or get caught. And the Saturday Night Live has fixed the ending years ago. FBI considered the film as a communist propaganda when Hollywood was enemy number 1 at the time. The FBI thought that the film's populism and anti-banker message was problematic. They even mentioned it in a 1947 FBI memo titled Communist Infiltration of the Motion Picture Industry. On May 26, 1947, the FBI issued a memo stating, "With regard to the picture It's a Wonderful Life," stated in substance that the film represents rather obvious attempt to discredit banker by casting Lionel Barrymore as a skunk type so that he would be the most hated man in the pictures. According to those sources, it's a common trick used by communists. In addition, said that in his opinion, this picture deliberately may leak the upper class, attempting to show the people who had money were mean and despicable characters. Film historian Andrew Serris points out as curious that the censors never noticed that the villainous Mr. Potter get away with robbery without being caught or punished in any way. Let's moving on to critical responses. At the time, Capra was directing It's a Wonderful Life. His style and perspective were already beginning to slip out of fashion, with many critics and viewers deeming him old-fashioned and sentimental. As a result, It's a Wonderful Life did not garner much attention or praise at the time of its release, and was not recognized until it was shown on cable in the 1970s. Capra was surprised and delighted by the late and unexpected success of the film, which seemed to hit a nerve with a contemporary audiences looking for stories for Christmas cheer and American ingenuity. Upon its release, the film was met with mixed reviews, many of them critiquing the sentimentality of the film. Its more universal acclaim did not come about until it began airing on television in 1976 during the Christmas season. Since then, it has become a canonical classic of holiday season. Despite its initially getting mixed reviews and being considered a box office flop, the film has become a classic and is a staple of Christmas television around the world. The change in reception was helped in part due to a clerical error which put the film into the public domain, allowing it to be freely shown anywhere without licensing or royalty-free. It's a Wonderful Life is now considered one of the greatest films of all time. It was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, and has been recognized by the American Film Institute as one of the 100 best American films ever made. As number 11 on its initial 1998 greatest movie list, as number 20 on its revised 2007 greatest movie list, and as number 1 on its list of the most inspirational American film of all time. Capra reviewed that it was his personal favorite among the film he directed, and that he screened it for his family every Christmas season. In June 2008, American Film Institute reviewed its top 10 the best 10 films in 10 classic American film genre. After polling over 1,500 people from the creative community, It's a Wonderful Life was acknowledged as the third best film in the fantasy genre. The film's positive reception has continued into the present. On the review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 94% based on 77 reviews, with an average rating of 8.59 out of 10. The website's critical consensus reads, "The holiday classic to defy all holiday classics. It's a Wonderful Life is one of a handful of films worth an annual viewing." On Metacritic, which assigns a normalized rating to review, the film has a score of 89 out of 100 based on 17 critics, indicating universal acclaim. It's a Wonderful Life won 2 awards. 1. Best Director in Golden Globe in 1947, and Top 10 Film from National Board of Review 1947. Although it has become a quintessential American classic, It's a Wonderful Life was not an immediate hit with the audience. In fact, it put Capra $525,000 in hole, which left him scrambling to finance his production company's next picture, State of Union. Say 6,000 movies that has done better than this movie. In 1977, It's a Wonderful Life was remade to TV movie called It Happened on Christmas. Famous quote and line from the movie. Fun facts about It's a Wonderful Life. This American favorite Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life, all began with a Christmas card. Philip Van Doren Stern gave the gift of birds to his closest friends for the holiday when he printed up 200 copies of the story and sent them out as a 21-page Christmas card. David Hempstead, a producer at RKO Pictures, ended up getting a hold of it and purchased the movie rights for $10,000, which made It's a Wonderful Life maybe the first and only Hollywood movie remade based on Christmas cards. About the actors, It's a Wonderful Life is Jimmy Stewart's first film after returning from the Second World War, which he also suffering from PTSD. Donna Reeves' role for Mary is her first starring role, and the actor that plays as George Bailey's mom has played as a mom for Jimmy Stewart for 5 different times in different movies. In the movie, there's a scene when George and Mary were dancing together in the school gym. The gym with the pool under it, it is real in Beverly Hills High School. The famous scenes in the poster where George is holding Mary up in the air. The scene never happened in the movie. Despite the fact that It's a Wonderful Life was considered as a Christmas movie, the film was shot in Los Angeles during the summer in 1946 amidst the heat wave, which we can see the character sweating in some scenes in the movie. NBC shows the film twice a year, every Thanksgiving and Christmas. In 2004, BBC made a poll asking for the best movie that never won Oscar. It's a Wonderful Life came in second. American Film Institute lists It's a Wonderful Life as the #1 movie of the list of the most inspirational film of all time.